What up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of NXT today on November 19th, 2024. And we're going to have started off with Nathan Frazier taking on Eddie Thorpe, like in the men's third Iron Survivor qualifier match. But before I get into that, I want to tell you like how shocking was the main event was. Like it was outspokenly surprisingly or surprisingly outspoken. I should say. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But yeah, either way, like it was, you would not expect this to happen. Like not even if we were in a parallel universe. Like you would never thought this would ever happen in your life. But we're gonna get to that in just a moment. But we did have some pretty good matches and some angles that is leading up to the next level, and other things and maybe one match in particular that we're gonna be seeing in next week's NXT, like with the qualifier, and then also like who's gonna be the next challenger for Fallon Henley's women's North American Championship, which they haven't figured out. It's similar to the tag team division, basically, in the men's tag team division. But we're going to talk about all about that. But yeah, I'll say. But overall, NXT did a pretty impressively good job on this week's episode. But this is where it starts things off with Nathan Frazier and Axiom heading out to the arena at backstage with them discussing they need to focus on like who they're gonna fight in the tag team division. But this is where Nathan Frazier, don't worry about it right now. They're too busy killing each other. So that's something that we don't really have to worry about. Don't have to worry about like who's gonna be the last one standing into this war. But in the meantime, let me live for a little and try to get an opportunity of the Iron Survivor match. And he was like, and this is where he's like, do I look worried to you? Axiom. This is where Axiom was like, well, no. And this is where it is like exactly. So you don't have nothing to fret about. But this is where we got Gallistine was right behind him. This is where they look at each other, look behind them, right in front of the camera. This is where they did their poses, like crossing their arms. This is where Axiom responded back well, I am, because if we don't focus about who could be our next challengers, then we will be in huge jeopardy right now, and of our chances of remaining as tag team champions. But yeah, this is where we got. We do get the matches where we got. This is where we saw what's his name hit a Cobra strike super kick, like when he was running, stripes like left, right, left, and then he went to the right side, hit a flying super kick, and then Nathan Frazier got back up, yeah, that was time to go all speedy and flashy, like if he's Sonic the Hedgehog himself. This is where he got Eddie Thorpe into her arm bars. Like so far so good. Like I think we could be seeing the next Iron Survivor challenger. And then I was like, imagine if he was Axton better get ready to give him some advice, like from his experience of being in the Iron Survivor. Well, that's only if Nathan Frazier's the only if Nathan Frazier's the only guy that's gonna be in the Iron Survivor in this tag team. And I'm gonna tell you more about that later on, because it just gets shocking before the biggest shock of the night happens. But this is where we got. That's where we got Nathan Frazier then going for a head. Wrist lock. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe then dipped him right to the left side, and the right side is where then he leaped right over Nathan Frazier when he was coming his way. That's where we got. That's where he hits the drop kick onto Frazier when he's coming to the left side. He needs him right. Man did a roll. That's where we got Eddie Thorpe got Nathan Frazier on the ground. And him getting prepared to hit whatever move that's I can think of right now. But this is where we got some of the tag teams came out, including Hank and Tank Ledger and Hank Walker. They were in the upper left side into the Chase U section. This is where we got what's his name? Eddie Thorpe then threw Nathan Frazier right to the bottom right side. Need him in the midsection. Then he went to the opposite side, the upper right side. Need him in the midsection. This is where then Nathan Frazier went to the other opposite side, right, which is diagonal from the bottom right. You need him right in the midsection. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe then Irish whip Nathan Frazier right into the bottom right side. This is where we got Nathan Frazier going for a handstand. This is where a handstand cartwheel flip. But this is where we saw him went right to the diagonal side and the upper left side. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe trying to go for a clothesline. This is where then we got Nathan Frazier hang on to him. This is where he try to go for clothesline, dodges out of the way, hits him with a face buster right into the ground. This is where then Frazier was like, oh, like I know what this means now. Like I got a chance. It's where and then Nathan Frazier like, my ribs. And then this is where then he gets Eddie Thorpe right back up. This is where then he snap mirrors him right to the ground. This is where then he this is where then he runs right to the left side. Gets a what's it called? A jawbreaker. This is where we got Nathan Frazier like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is where then Eddie Thorpe's like, my neck and my head. This is where Nathan Frazier was like, I'm gonna show you more how it's done. This is where then we got Nathan Frazier then and go for a suplex. This is where we got him to kick back and then forward. This is where he goes for a suplex. It's where one half of the fans in the audience were chanting, "Let's go, Eddie," and then the other half was chanting, "Let's go, Frazier," because they're both baby faces, of course, and top favorites in the mid card division. But this is where we got Nathan Frazier trying to go for a pin after this kickback suplex, but this is where he ends up getting a 2.7 count. This is where then we got a referee let him know that this is where Nathan Frazier was like, but it was so close, wasn't it? Like him being kind of an arrogant a-hole, I guess you could call him. But this is where we got Nathan Frazier then go for another suplex. This is where the Dallas boys was right on the stage. This is where we got Booker T like, what the hell are they doing here? And I was agreeing like I know that y'all I know there's tag team championships and y'all want those titles back like in y'all's possessions, but did you really have to be interfering in the match that has nothing that's zero to do things to do with the with the tag team division, which is for the NXT championship, like if whoever wins the Iron Survivor match at NXT Deadline in December. But it's where this distracting nearly worked, where Eddie Thorpe hit the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling with a surprise roll. But this is where we got Nathan Frazier kicked out of it at 2.6. This is where we got Nathan Frazier for coverage, where we got 2.1 count. Like this is where we got Eddie Thorpe immediately got back up. He tried to clothesline Frazier. He ducks. Where he ducks is where they go for a double crossbody into each other. This is where both men down to the ground. Like this is where we went to the commercial break, which is the most powerful force in all of pro wrestling. And this is where after they got into the advert, this is where we got both men were just going at it with them getting flippy doodah maneuvers, including Frazier is going fast because they got to go fast more than Sonic on the X series. This is where we got what's his name? Eddie Thorpe try to go for a clothesline, and Nathan Frazier ducks out of the way, springboard moonsaults and hits a reverse DDT onto the Native American wrestler. This is where he hits a shooting star press. This is where he tried to go for a cover. This is where he almost got a 3, but he only got a 2.7 count when he was when the referee was like a few inches away from being on the mat. That's where then Nathan Frazier like, why so close? Like when I could why so close when I'm like. Why I had to be so close, but yet not to get the dub. This is where they try to go for the Phoenix Splash, but where then we got what's his name? Eddie Thorpe trying to intercept and try to go for a belly to back suplex, avalanche belly to back suplex actually. But this is where Nathan Frazier elbowed him right off of him. This is where he tried to go for the Phoenix Splash. But this is where we got the no quarter catch crews, Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, like right behind the Gallus boys. This is where we got what's his name? Eddie Thorpe then hits him with a brainbuster onto Frazier. This is where he thought he was going to get the win with this maneuver. But this is where Nathan Frazier kicks out. Nathan Frazier kicks out and denies Eddie with a surprising kick out of 2.999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being 3. And this is where we saw the Gallus boys were mocking Nathan Frazier's tag partner Axiom. This is where then. And he was like, "Oh, boo hoo!" Like it seemed like your best friend and tag partner forgot everything about you. Like you might as well just give up those tag titles to us right now. That's where Nathan Frazier like no, not on my dead body. Like it is where. And like with them, right after they start mocking the luchador, this is where then we got that's where Hank and Tank then I like what they were talking to Nathan. I mean, yeah, talking to Axiom like that. That's where it's like, hey, like show some respect for the champs. Like even though we want those titles too, but that doesn't mean you start talking trash on them. Like that, like what kind of a person you are for that. This is where we later on we see the homeless man, the hurricane came in his typhoon wave ride because he must have been invited by Booker T. Normally he would just be in the ocean watching it in his hurricane form TV because he's like the Patrick Star in Orlando. Like with him, like be making all his furniture and his house out of stuff that's made out of unelectrical and wool and other kind of like materials for stuff that you make as household items. Like we make them out of water and some clouds, I guess you could say. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, this is where we got But yeah, this is where like once he came in, this is where we got all the tag teams then swooped in because they wanted to ride into the typhoon ride. This is where Booker T's like, oh yeah, there's my man. Like yeah, you missed the action. This is where then it was everybody like in the tag team division. They came out, started kicking each other's butts, like boom, 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 boom. There's a swarm of beating the hell out of each other. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe. Then, oh no, this is where we got Nathan Frazier. Then dive on to everybody except for Eddie Thorpe. This is where Eddie Thorpe hits the face first right onto the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron. This is where we got Eddie Thorpe. Then kicks Tavion Heights right into the gut. This is where then we got Eddie Thorpe then try to go for his impaling DDT, but this is where we got Nathan Frazier. What's that called? Wrist lock out of it. Goes for, but he gets insecure and roundhouse kick by the. Eddie Thorpe. This is where Nathan then there was almost out for the count. This is where we got what's his name? Eddie Thorpe then run to the left side, try to close on, but this is where Nathan Frazier then ducks hit a wrist lock, with that spinning neck breaker, then hit the Phoenix Splash, which is his finishing maneuver. 1, 2, 3, winner of this match, and the third qualifier of the Iron Survivor Challenge, and that is Nathan Frazier. And he will be going to Deadline with Javon Evans and Wes Lee. This is about to be the greatest Iron Survivor match yet in NXT. And who do you think is going to win? And we're gonna be here who's gonna be competing on the next qualifier match. Just wait until the very end. And then this is not the only best match of the night. I'll say we got other women like Jada. I mean, we got the other qualifiers, but this time in the women's side of the pond, and that was Jada Parker and Stephanie Vaquer what's their names? Stephanie Vaquer and what's Ren Sinclair and Zarya, which I would say. It's gonna be a biased opinion. I have to give it a number. I'm gonna have to give it the number one. Sort of a hypocrite, but you get what I'm trying to say. But let me know down in the comment section right down below my opinion, making this the match of the night. But still, the main event gets the silver trophy. But we're gonna move on to the next slide. After they took care of this tag team brawl, fans start chanting "Holy Sugar Honey Iced Tea," and I don't think they were shouting the snack bar guy for ice cold refreshing sweet beverage, even though they probably would have something like that if they were seeing a brawl like this. But it's where they show the vignette of Chase U, you're saying they do not want the university to close down, because it's what made magic happen, and the reason why, and that's the reason why the students are there is because of Andre Chase creating this university in NXT, to elevate them to their best potential, I guess you could say. What if they're already in the midst of it, or about to be in the future, in their future success in the business, or already been passed and succeeded. From the last 2 years, Chase University has been the stepping stone of success, basically. Yeah. But moving on, we got Jada Parker taking on Stephanie Vaquer. This definitely ties as the bronze trophy of the night, along with what's that, Ren Sinclair and Zarya. But moving on, we got Jada Parker trying to get some offense in, like onto to what's name Stephanie Vercurd is where she even Irish whipped her to the right side is where she tried to outsmart her with Stephanie Vercurd's like where the hell had she been? But that's where we got the female OTM member then hit the shoulder tackle onto the former New Japan Strong Women's Champion. That's where we got Jada Parker then picks up the Chilean wrestler and then spin her, pick her up, and that's where did she send her right to the bottom right side. That's where then Vercurd like bounced right off the bottom corner. This is where Jada Parker then hit a hip attack, but this is where we got Stephanie Vercurd goes for a wrist lock, or not wrist lock, a flying head scissors into a schoolgirl, which I never thought I would see any wrestler would perform that maneuver. But Stephanie Vercurd managed to do so. This is where she got like a 1-2 ooh at 2.3. This is where we got Vercurd and rolled her up into like a wheelbarrow spin, but this is where he only got her like a 1-2.3 count. Yeah, this is where then we got Vercurd and to go for a spin, like a spinning arm maneuver, like whatever I move, like this where she twisted like sideways and backwards is where she then went side by side, like when she started bending the arm of the female OTM member. This is where we got. I where the Stephanie Vercurden hit a stomp right onto the arm, right into the side. This is where then we got Stephanie Vercurden. Like, you think that's all? Like, yeah, this is where that came from. This is where then you try to send Jada Parker right to the into the bottom left side. This is where did you try to go for a clothesline, but Vercurden then did a armbar on submission onto to Jada Parker. This is where she tried to do some major damage onto Jada, but arm right onto that side in the bottom right or bottom left actually. This is where then we got Stephanie go for a springboard crossbody, but this is where she gets picked up like into a always slam position, but this is where she gets backbreaker by the left knee of Jada. This is where then Jada Parker then throws Stephanie Vercurd right into the corner, right into the upper right corner side. She starts slapping her right across her ribs, like right when she was hanging. This is where she step right into the middle rope. This is where she hits the springboard bomb drop. This is where then she did the shush motion like with her finger. This is where that's what you're like, oh, my shoulder still is in agonizing pain, but like you're not gonna complain about it. But this is where we got like after the advert, like with the powerful force came on. This is where then we got what's her name? They showed what's her name? Jada Parker goes for a backstabber, which I think she was trying to be like another fellow. Even though she never wrestled her, if I'm not mistaken, like another African American female wrestler, like which I'm not sure if I can think of this particular wrestler in particular, I guess you could say, but yeah, like but some tells me that she's probably in the other company, like doing some success there. But I think she was in this company, like, and about a decade ago, I believe she even was a top champion on this brand. But let me know in the comments below, like who exactly do you think I'm referring to when I ask this question. But this is where we got. That's where we got what's her name? Jada Parker then throws Stephanie right to the left side. This is where then we got Stephanie to go for a roundhouse kick. By the way, I think Stephanie probably knows like who I'm referring to, maybe like because yeah, if she sees this, of course, like but you probably don't want to mention them by name because one, it's probably against policy to talk about other wrestlers from other companies. Like, and secondly, like let's just say, yeah, it's something not for her to talk about because yeah, like bad experiences. Like, and I don't mean that when it comes up in performance. I'm saying like when it comes to the story, like of her persona. But this is where we got Stephanie Vercurden try to go for a forearm strike, but this is where we got Jada Parker ducks out of the way. This is where she hits a forearm right into the back of what's her name? Of what's her name? What's her name? Jada Parker. This is where she hits that like that dragon on the dragon like an underarm dragon sleeper suplex position. This is where she flips her over. But this is where we got Jada Parker then kicks out at 2.7, if I'm mistaken. This is where we got Jada Parker got back in control. She got her in the knee on the back into a submission, but this is where did she push her best way great in the hair of Stephanie Vercurd. This is where she started bending her head and her and her back, like and making her spine go forward, like and try to snap into two, like in that position is where we got Stephanie Vaquer like, no, I'm not surrendering. This is where we got the Chilean wrestler, then flip right out of it is where she gets elbow strike right to the back, however, because that that's our weak spot, I guess you could say at the moment. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer got sleeped into a sleeper hold. Well, I'm not sure if that's even a word. I'll say she got slept, I guess you could say, with her getting hit with a sleeper by Jada. But this is where Jada swings a kick right into the head onto to Jada Park. This is where she goes for a wrist lock and then a boot right to the face, like if she's Mi Chin and what's her name, Gail Kim. This is where we got, which I assume that's her signature move. This is where we got Stephanie Vaquer go for the double knees to the face. This is where we got her snap mirroring right to the middle of the ring. This is where we got. What's her name? Stephanie Vaquer had her legs wrapped around Jada Parker's neck. Is where she goes, turns around and starts hitting her like into this like almost flying head scissor, like head scissor or like a head. I'll say actually what's that head triangle face buster maneuver? Like slamming her face into the canvas, which I assume that's her other signature move. Next to the move that Mi Chin and Gail Kim does is where we got Stephanie go for the cover, but it's where the referee counted to one and he counted to two. But it's where we got Parker kick out at 2.8. That's where Stephanie was like, "Oh, come on, that should have been three." Anyway, we got Jada Parker and go for that go for a suplex cutter maneuver, like a dragon suplex cutter kind of combo, but it's where we got Vaquer flip right out of it. Hits the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, which is the move that surprisingly did not get out of 1, 2, 3 tonight on NXT. In fact, I don't think it even. I'm not sure if it even got out a pinfall victory on Monday Night Raw. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but yeah, low key, like it seemed like every wrestler hit their finishing maneuver, which I had no problems with them not doing the maneuver, but it's very fun the call to action for whoever does hit the surprise roll up. But here's where we got. Here we got Jada Parker then kicks out of it. This is where we got the point is at 2.99999. That's where we got Jada Parker then start countering out of Stephanie Vaquer strikes, neither in the midsection. That's where we got Jada then try to go for a suplex of her own, but this is where it ends up going for a face buster. This is where she nearly did the hypnotic, and she would probably would have gotten away with it this win, with the so close win. Like if it wasn't for her meddling arch nemesis, Lola Vice, where there's like, oh hey Jada, this is where then Jada was like, oh my gosh, I thought I got rid of you 2 weeks ago, and that women's first ever NXT hardcore match at the ECW arena. This is where Lola Vice like, no, like you didn't completely got rid of me, and you never will be. This is where this is where Jada Parker's like, oh yeah, I will, like, but as soon as I get qualified, like I'm gonna be dealing with you, I'm gonna come after you next. But she let her let the distraction got the better of her because she ends up getting super kicked when she turned around and tried to set her tension onto Stephanie Vaquer, but this is where that was too late. The Chilean wrestler got her. It's where that double under that double. No, this one did she plan her with this double under backbreaker to seal the deal for the 1, 2, 3 winner of this match. Stephanie Vaquer give a humongous win onto that for the former New Japan Strong Women's Champion, I guess you could say. And do you think she could be the one to win the Iron Survivor match? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But as so far, like we got Soruka in qualify, and then we got the next qualifying match, which we all know who's everything going to be compared. I mean, probably add it into the match. Well, if we already seen it, well, it's obviously who's going to be in it, but it is where we got. This is where we got. What's his name? Tavian, what's his name? Dion Lennox and Brittany Reese were absolutely hyped about their mixed tag match against Carmen Petrovic and Shantae Diadonis by showing like they're actually starting to grow feelings for each other, which I don't know why, and I understand why WWE's like even going with this path. Like, but if it floats Adonis's boat, like with him being the ladies' man, like well, like I can't yet tell him like what to do with him. Like as long as like everybody's comfortable with the idea, but even for that, like I'm still not a fan, like the biggest fan. But that doesn't mean I hate it. But it's just that I don't know. Like yeah, it's just it's not like my cup of tea right now. Like when it comes to storyline wise. But anyways, is where we got. This is what it was like, and it was like we're going to take care of them like the Beavers. Then going to take care of the Washington State team and in the NCAA football game Saturday's game. Like, and it's where then Brittany was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And this where they, and this where then they, this is where they start wearing I mean, that's where they wore the wore Beavers gear, like on their way out to the ring. Where Brittany Louise got the mini croc top jersey, while we got her got the cap for the Beavers, while he got the pullover, like how like my Kansas City Chiefs kind of pullover, kind of similar to that with the strings on the onto the hoodie, like which. I wish I had it out, like so I could show you what it looked like it was like similar to that kind of shirt, but but this is where we got we was like yeah we're like just like they're gonna show Washington State, like we're gonna show like both Carmen and Shantae what we made of, and this where then this where Deion Lynch is like yeah like. And then this is where they were like, yeah, let's get this started. This is where then they continue to get prepared and start they continue their jumping jacks and whatnot, like in their warm ups, like rituals, I guess you could say, like before they have this match against their former friends, or Brentley's former friend, and I'm not sure, like associate of Dion that Shante Diodonis like for some reason wanted to hang around because like he's like a guy that's like attracting ladies and he's trying to get some advice, which there's probably nothing that he's gonna give advice, especially when he's starting to get the ladies in his attention, like especially Carmen in particular, of course. This is where we got Roxanne Perez that posted a video on her ex by saying like hello everyone I see. And then she was like, yeah, like get your current NXT Women's Champion and encourage and your current longest reigning champion in all of WWE. Which I was like, no, like that's not true because even for the last reign and in this reign with the Women's Championship, that don't really adds up. Like because it's been nearly a year since you've been the champion. Well, actually, it's been like half a year actually, like in for the past 7 months. Like ever since you won that title at Stand and Deliver, she's been holding on to that title for maybe 7 month reign, and then she had like a 3 or 4 month reign with that all that combined. Like I'll say 4 and 7, that equals 11. Like in that rhymes, so it's definitely true. It's altogether that's like a little bit less than a year. So like two of those reigns combined are less than a year. So what exactly Roxanne's talking about? And even if he hold on to that title like long enough, like from and then if she did hold on to that title like long enough, maybe she would have Oscar's reign already. With her, like if she still hang on to that title since December of 2022, like she would, probably would be the longest reigning champion in NXT history. But it's where the Roxanne president said, like, she's like rewarding herself with a well-deserved vacation, like a long overdue one. This is where, like, that she then she confirmed that it really was. Is where this is where then we got her running into Saruka, where they're saying, like, Roxanne, like, you're vacationing here too, yeah, like it's awesome to see you here, and it's just where she's like, you would probably see me again, like after like when I win at the Iron Survivor match at Deadline. This is where the Roxanne Perez, like, yeah, even so. Like, and that's where then she was like, I hope you enjoy your vacation because after Deadline, you're going to be seeing more of me. That's where Roxanne Perez looked like in a very frustrated look, like saying, yeah, yeah, she will be she will be seeing me, all right, but not what exactly she thinks it's gonna be. But that's where, but this is where I was thinking, like maybe we could be teasing it's where this tease could lead up into an actual potential match. But do you think that's going to happen? We can see Sol Ruka getting a victory over the NXT Women's Championship, which I think is kind of a little bit overdue. But let me know what your opinions on the matter in the comment section right down below. But moving on to the next slide, we got Brooks Jensen grappling with Tony D'Angelo. This is where they start spinning them around. This is where they start going to ropes, turnbuckles in the left side, bottom left, like in bottom side. This is where we got Tony D'Angelo was riding the offense position side of things. This is where he got him in a headlock. This is where we got Brooks Jensen dips him right to the left side, threw him to the right, and where we got Tony D'Angelo go for a shoulder tackle. This is where we got Tony D'Angelo follow that up with a body slam. And this is where Tony D'Angelo's like, yeah, like I'm the true Don. And this is where then he goes for a headlock. This is where we got what's his name? Brooks Jensen then trying to dip him right to the right side, left side to the right side. This is where we got what's his name? Tony D'Angelo countered to him instead. This is where he tried to go for a shoulder tackle, but it's where he tried to run right back to the right side. But Tony D'Angelo countered, tried to go for a shoulder tackle, but unfortunately Brooks Jensen did not what's it called? Not intercept. And this is where then he turned into a headlock. This is where we got a headlock right on Tony D'Angelo. This is where Tony D'Angelo then try to flip right out of it, but he ends up getting slammed right to the ground by what's his name, Brooks Jensen. This is where he starts stomping onto the midsection onto Tony D'Angelo. Then hits a headlock right onto Tony D'Angelo. This is where he hits a back body drop, but this is where it was nothing that was letting go of Brooks Jensen. This is where then he tried to come up with Plan B, which he did not know what exactly Plan B was all about. This is where he had, but I think he went right into the left side, fell right into the outside. That was probably his last results. This is where then we got Tony D'Angelo and went on the outside. This is where he threw Brooks Jensen back in the ring. This is where he's like, I'll keep my eyes on you, Sean. This is where Sean's like, oh, you don't have to worry about me. You should be worrying about like my client right here. This is where Tony D'Angelo's like, yeah, will do. This is where he hit him with a couple clotheslines. Throw the belly suplex out of a comeback. This is where he hit the second consecutive belly to belly. On top of that, is where then what's his name? Tony D'Angelo's like, I want to see me do more damages to the former NXT UK, the former NXT UK Tag Team Champions, where he tried to go for a pop-up spine buster, which I believe that's his finisher, but it ends up getting intercepted into a pop-up code breaker. That's where then we got Brooks Jensen trying to go for a cover, but this is where we got Tony D'Angelo get the left shoulder up. That's where we got what's his name, Brooks Jensen. They run to the left side, hit a big boot right into the face onto Tony. But once he hits that boot to the face, is where we saw him run to the left side, hit another running attack move. But this time, he didn't know what to hit him in particular. Tony D'Angelo came out of nowhere, spike him with a spine buster. 1, 2, 3, and still his privileges of the NXT UK Championship is still alive, and that's Tony D'Angelo. Or are they? Because that's where we got some announcement for his NXT North American Championship, which I'm gonna get into just a moment. But first, I'm gonna talk about like with Shawn Spears and Tony D'Angelo had a stare down after this match. After Shawn Spears checked on his, I'll say client. I guess you could say client or his protege or whatever you want to call him. That's where then he makes sure he's okay. That's where he try to offer a handshake and show of respect. Look like that Shawn Spears could possibly turn babyface. But once Tony D'Angelo shakes his hand, he gets ambushed from behind with a trip right to the face. Like with the most grandest trick in the book, like it's just happening right before Tony's eyes, with Shawn Spears having a maniacal smile, like after he got ambushed by Brooks Jensen with a chop block, we're messing up his leg in the process. I was like, I would never thought I would see this in professional wrestling, but yet, like we're in 2024, so anything is possible, including in this new WWE era, in the Renaissance era, like anything can happen. Like, so yeah, like don't just quickly trust like anybody that try to offer their hand out, like because you never know what's gonna be their plans of, I'll say, of trying to take you out, like at this point. But this is where it was later announced that we will be seeing like Sean Spears will be taking on Tony D'Angelo for the NXT champion, North American championship, not the NXT champion because Trick Williams that belt. Tony D'Angelo is the North American champion. And do you think that we could be seeing and do you think it's gonna be next week? Which I'm not sure if they said like when's the date is gonna be on, and like when they fight each other for the NXT title, North American title, why is it NXT Championship? Like if it's just the NXT title, but yeah, let me know down in the comment section right down below. I But one thing I've been thinking, like, whatever happened to Obafemi? Like, what's next for the Nigerian ruler? Like, I mean, they said they're gonna probably book him up into the on the top of the NXT mountain, and that's for the NXT championship. Which I would be surprised if he would challenge Trick Williams, like at Stand and Deliver, and finally become a new championship to upgrade from his successful dominant reign as North American champion, like how Gunther did with the Intercontinental Championship, and then help him graduate right to the world title scene. But moving on forward, but yeah, next up, let me know in the comments, though, like what's your take on to this? Like Sean Spears, like in a team with the But yeah, right. But yeah, let me know in the comment section right down below. Do you think Sean Spears is capable of taking the North American title to the Dawn of NXT, or more capable of taking the gold from the Dawn of NXT? Let me know in the comment. This is where then we got this is where we got a backstage training segment like they did with Brittany Reese and Dion Lennox earlier. They're doing the same with Ashante Diadonis and Carmen Petrovic. The two like potentially the I'll say potentially the on-screen couple is where we got Shante Diaz like look like I know Dion went to Oregon State, and then and your friend Brentley's your best friend, like, but honestly tonight, like, well, they're gonna fin to lose to us tonight. And then this is where Carmen Petrovic then immediately and genuinely agreed on to Shante Diadonis's opinion, his what's it called, his statement that he's making with his words is where that's what it's like, and yeah, just like Oregon State's gonna lose to who was it? You know, he said like they're gonna finna lose tonight, just like or like Oregon State gonna lose to Washington State. Like, you feel me? This is where then Carl Petrovic then genuinely and immediately agreed. She was like, yeah, I feel you right now. This where then. And this where then what's his name? Ashante Diadonis then say like, yeah, like, like, you looking good with Clemson Gray. This where then this where then Carl Petrovic was like, yeah, you look good yourself as well, with still wearing the Washington State gear, I guess you could say. This where then when her say Carl Petrovic was like, but seriously, Ashante, like, this is what she's like. You gotta walk in there like and this match like seriously, because for real. Like, we've been locked into this match for a reason. So we can sort our differences out and get that dub. And this is where then I believe like what she said, she like Ashante did the outfit because it said what it said right in front of his shirt. And I'm not sure like who's older than who, but just saying, because you never know what's in their minds at this point. But this is where we got. 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 Carmen Petrovic was like, as long as we get both our hands raised, that's all that matters. There. This is where then we got Ashante Diadonis totally agreed by stating like that's like a win-win to me already. This is where then. This is where then. What's her name? Didn't want to waste no time. Carmen Petrovic. This is where she fist bumps him, like say like, okay, let's go. This is where then they head out to the ring because like Dion Lennox and what's her name, Brentley Reese was already in the ring. And I totally forgot to say how I rate I'll say the Tony D'Angelo versus Brooks Jensen match, which I give the blue ribbon of the night. That's because we Iron Survivors, and I'll say in the main event match gets the top 3 list. Either one, even if it was not one of these matches, I probably would have gave it a higher rating right here. But but I would give it then to the give it to the fourth Brooks Jensen, and I hope Brooks Jensen does get a push very, very soon, and not just be somebody's lackey, and actually going to get some single success. Also, we got this order we got, yeah, and then this mixed tag match. This was very entertaining, so I'm just gonna give this tag team match probably five. I'll say about like the fifth place spot of the red ribbon. This is where we got the match star, but this is where every time or no, before I get into that is where we got Alexis King. Then was backstage with Yoshiki in the Mura, yeah, Yoshiki in the Mura. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This is where then this is where they had a little competition. This is where the Alexis King's like, yeah, I see the Stone Steady wins the race. Like it, and this was like, and I appreciate you listening to me, man, Mister, and not and not trying to, and not trying to judge me because of judge me personally or anything about me. This is where this is where then we got in the more that was like, yeah, I understand, man, and then this is where then. Right where we got him doing some bends. I guess we got doing a little training, but this is where we got Josh Briggs like, what the hell was that all about with you and Lexus Key? This is where then we got that's where we got what's his name? Yoshiki in the more was like, yeah, like I don't know, like NXT is getting more insane, and this is where he was not lying because we saw the whole NXT tag team the locker room from last week with them not stopping with the just beating the hell out of each other, trying to get a shot at the NXT tag team titles because Ava said she don't find neither of these women, not women, neither of these men, I guess you could say, which I got it mixed up with a totally different brawl. But this is where he specifically told all these men in the division that she don't see none of them worthy to be the next challenger, which that was completely pointless. Even for that, why don't you just book them into some kind of a number one contenders eliminator or tournament or even a gauntlet match or something like that is going to automatically give him a shot at the WWE NXT Tag Team Championship, or even do some kind of a tag team ladder match to earn himself a contract right off the hook to get those belts. But this is where we got here's where we saw all the men in the tag. This is where they start beating the hell out of each other, boom, 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 boom. That's where we move on to the mixed tag match. And this is where we got but anyway, back to the mixed tag match. This is where we got Shante Diadonis try to start off with Dion Lennox, but this is where we got Carmen Petrovic tagged herself in the match, but this is where we got Carmen Petrovic and Brittany Louise was about to fight, but this is where we got Shante Diadonis tagged himself back in the match. But this is where once he got back in the ring, this is where Carmen Petrovic tagged him back. He started playing tic tag right into each other, which I understand why they were doing that. It's not like if they're just not hiding it no more, with these very unexpected feelings. But this is where we got Deion Lennox and what's his name, Brittany Louise. We're getting tired of this. Is where we got Deion Lennox. Then encourage Brittany Louise to just go for the surprise roll up, which that move always catches everybody off guard. Which is that's why they call it the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling. Which it says it right even on Simon Miller's shirt, which is on Pro Wrestling Tees right now. Make sure to get your merchandise of his novelty wrestling shirts, along with any other popular wrestler in the industry, whether if they're in the professional league or in the independent league. Make sure to get their shirts right now. But like I can name a top 10 list, but I'm just gonna wait until a different time to do it. But this is where we got. This is where we got after Brent Lewis did that. This is where she started getting like crazy, like with these very with these very horrible katana-like kicks right into her midsection and other places that you do not want to get hit, like which I know is not a reference to something inappropriate, but I'm saying in general, like you do not want to get hurt with and plenty of places that you do like yeah like especially like if Carmen's legs are like actual human sized knives, I guess you could say, or like a human form like swords or knives. But this is where we got this is where she tags in Ashante the Adonis, and this is where it was this is where Dion Lennox, this is where they start going at it, and this is where we saw Ashante the Adonis then got the offense in. This is where he started taunting I'd say the much more handsome competitor in this match is where we got Dion Lennox then hits the body drop right onto Adonis. This is where he goes for the missile drop kick. This is where he's sending right to the bottom, the left side. This is like, come on, Ashante. This is where he clotheslines him right onto the bottom left side. This is where then he runs to the right quarter side. This is where he goes for. This is where he tried to go for a run on the left side, but this is where we got Carmen Petrovic then try to cover herself so she won't get hit. This is where we got Dion Lennox smartly stopped and make sure he did not get. This is where they're like, oh, like, this is where they breathe a sigh of relief because like we do not want because like it's a mistake that you do not want to commit right here at this point. But this is where we got. Ashante Diaz took advantage of this moment to try to go for like a belly to back maneuver, like into like some kind of a wheelbarrow roll up. But this is where we got Ashante Diaz got countered by Lennox. This is where he tried to go for one of his own. But this is where Ashante Diaz went right under the ropes. This is where he made Dion and hits his neck right onto the ropes. This is where like my throat. And this is where then we got Ashante Diaz to hit a clothesline to start batting him with a few right hands onto the head, onto Lennox. That's where he pushed him right off. This is where he tried to tag in Brent Lee. This is where we got Ashante to continue his strikes right onto the of the much handsome wrestler. I guess you could say this is where we got the former. This is where we got the former. That's where we got the former Hit Row member that sends him right to the right side. This is where Booker T won't stop calling him the Yabba Dad Do, man, whatever it's called. This is where he goes for a back clothesline. But this is where we got, what's his name? Dion Lennox, and we're to the right side. He had a double clothesline. Mr. Austin Jenkins and Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This is where we got Mr. Adonis then tags in Carmen Petrovic. That's where Brentley Reese then came in, and that's where she started going for clothesline, making a comeback for her and Dion Lennox. This is where she tried to go for a cartwheel flip into a clothesline, which she's starting to look like a star with her getting a comeback and getting the offense in onto her former friend. But that's where once she tried to hit her with a fireman's carry. This is where we got a Carmen Petrovic countered out of it into a wheelbarrow roll. But I was like, that's a total bummer because she could have done the Death Valley Driver, which is the most dominating move in all the pro wrestling, by the way, like which is rightfully owned by yours truly right here, Mr. Super Ninja Austin. And where we got but this is where we got. But this is where we got one. But once Britt Louise flipped right out of it, this is where did she try to go for a pin, a roll up of her own, but she gets pushed right to the left side. This is where she nearly ran right to Shante Diaz. This is where she's like, stop right there. This is where they try to make her fall in love with him, which that's very odd. This is where then he tried to. That's where he tells her to kiss him right into the cheek. This is where he's like, give it to me right here. And this is where then we got Brimley Weiss look at him like very like disgusted and appalling. This is where she was like, I'll give it to you, all right. This is where then she gave him a slap right across his left side of his face. This is where Carmen Petrovic did not like how she did that to her man. This is where she hits that roundhouse katana right into the face onto Britt Lee. This is where she got the 1, 2, 3 after that. That's where I was like, what is up with these matches? Like, first of all, like being so darn short tonight, right? Like, except for the match, the main event, which we're going to be talking about in just a moment. But this is where we got both men and women like did was in the ring standing up tall like they promised they were going to do, get the dub, which they did. So that's where they had their hands together like touching. That's where the referee then came in and try to intervene and that make this even more awkward, I guess you could say, which was probably for the best. Like raising both man and woman's hand is where then that's where it was like, yeah, like this is a great win for us. I guess it's where but this was not all like that we were going to see. This and let alone being the last time we will be seeing these two, but. Things do not turn out very well for those that are well invested into this romance angle, like I guess you could say. Now, but I gotta admit, it is very well emotionally invested. Like if you're a fan of wrestling romance, I guess you could say storylines. But I'm not really that much of a fan of it. But I'll say I do respect it. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm more like in different kind of storylines, including when it comes to when it comes to main event storylines, like whatever happens in the squared circle. Those kind of like what's going on in the wrestling ring, not like what's going on like something personally. Even though this is all part of the kayfabe, I guess you could say, if not realistically. Like I'm not sure what to say on that, but this is where we got. Riddler got Kelly Kincaid was in the backstage interview with Ridge Holland because he had to match against Andre Chase tonight. Like with his chance of trying to get the NXT championship. Like and not that only that, but Chase U for good. It was anyway, you got Kelly Kincaid pointing out the obvious, like what's the one thing standing in his way, and that's none other than the man that he's trying to plan on beating. And that was Andre Chase. And this is where Charles like, yeah, I remember the Chase U's pass down the memory lane, and I remember the classroom, and then that I got in, like, and wearing the shoes that I gifted them. Like, yeah, you see. He was like, "Yeah, that's a funny way that he's distorting reality." And then there's some of those negative Nancy's would probably agree with him because like I guess they're not much of a fan of fictional, like they're not much of a like the safe way to put it. They're not a fan of fictional things like as much as Super Ninja Austin don't like fictional storylines of romance, I guess you could say. Like, but yeah, that's a different video for a different day. But yeah, this is where we got Rich Holland at it saying. The reality is, like, I destroyed Duke and I crushed Raleigh and I forced Chase right in the back of an ambulance at NXT. What's it called? NXT Halloween Havoc about like 3 weeks ago, if I'm mistaken. But it's where the Rich Holland then continues to say like yeah, he got a lot of a lot of bronze than brains, and that's where then he's like. And he's like, the whole arena's waiting for him. Like, and after the night, like Kelly, Thea, Duke, Riley, and Thea and Andre are all done. And it's like, and then they're just gonna be left as a flounder of their own with no family whatsoever. Like the whole own, like, and it's where they could do that. Again, relationship will indeed be destroyed. He's like, yeah. He's like, you may. Like, yeah, you made your deathbed, like, and I'm going to deadline, and then and I'm gonna make you lay in that deathbed, like, forever challenging me to another match, and I'm gonna win that NXT championship in peace. So peace out to you. This is where then he walked out of the interview booth. This is where we got the next match, which is Zarya taking on Ren Sinclair. This was pretty decent, nothing like out of the ordinary. We all know who's going to be the victor. Like, even though, like, it was pretty impressive, but I'm not sure if it's going to get in the top 5 list. Yeah. Which, it wasn't just, match, man. Excuse me, but yeah, but there was still something that was just decent. That's to give something to just to give something for some in the mid card, but this was also a qualifier match, and you would expect it to get like at least the top 3 list. But surprisingly, it didn't. Like it was like but it still was pretty great. Like it was something in- interesting to watch because it's about like who's gonna get a shot at the NXT Men's and Women's Championship after like they qualify in these matches and be in a yeah, like but yeah, this is where we got this is where we got the match started with what's her name, Winston Sinclair, and quickly trying to keep up with Zarya. With Zarya trying to grab her, but she dodges out of her grasp. This is where she tries to go for a back to belly maneuver, but she gets back to belly face plant by Zarya. This is where Winston Sinclair's like, no, I don't want no more. This is where then she gets tossed right to the upper left side. This is where we got Charlie Dempsey's like, don't let this girl be a bother and punk you. This is where we got Charlie Dempsey's like yeah, go in there and show you who you are. And that's where then Brent Sinclair was very confident and very motivated in what exactly her NQCC teammate member said. This is where then she went right on top of Zarya. This is where she tried to hit a couple of blows, but she ends up getting picked up right into a fallaway position. But this is where we got Reggie Sinclair from that's where we got Zarya to try to pick her up like into some kind of an Alabama slam maneuver, which is where she gets countered into like a sunset flip kind of maneuver. This is where we got Zarya was getting bored and annoyed. This is where she picks up Ren Sinclair, send her right to the bottom, right or left side. She splashes onto her. This is where then she picks her up into a suplex, like right out of the corner. This is where she flips right over. This is where then she go for like a hell, she hits a brainbuster onto to Ren Sinclair. This is where Ren Sinclair go for a kick out. Like once he gets the pin at 2.8, this is where Ren Sinclair got back into the offense fray. This is where she hits a missile drop kick. This is where we got Zarya try to go for a standing suplex. This is where Ren Sinclair picks her up. Pins her right into like without a wheelbarrow pin, but she only got like a like was it like 2.6, but it's where we got Zarya goes for a clothesline flip right onto Ren. This is where both women fell right into the outside. This is where we got this is where then we got what's her name? Ren Sinclair gets thrown right inside the ring. This is where we got Ren Sinclair right in the front of Charlie Dempsey. This is where she was like, and you better not do anything. Like, I know your tricks. You do like, I'm going to keep my eye on you. Like, if you try to help her out by touching me, like, I'm going to make sure that you'll be touched all over, like, and not in a nice way. This way, then she made her threats, like basically saying like she's gonna give a well-deserving beating to him, just like she's doing with Brent Sinclair. But I believe like she let that distraction got the better of her because it's where we got Ren then go for a suicide dive onto her. That's where we got Sinclair then pick. That's where then she send her right back in the ring. That's where the fans are chanting NXT, which they found is very intriguing, which I found is very intriguing as well, but probably not the best match of the night, let alone in the top five, but this still was pretty good. Like, this is where then we got Zarya and sent Sinclair right to the left side is where she gets a clothesline and it gets hit face first right into the canvas is where we got Ren Sinclair going for a missile drop kick. Is where then like we got Ren then picks up Brandon picks up what's her name? Zarya. This is where she's trying to go for a double underhook. This is where we got Zarya then hits a big clothesline right onto Ren Sinclair. This is where we got Ren Sinclair like, like where am I? This is where we got what's her name? Like this is where we got what's her name? Uh what's the name? Zarya trying to pick up Ren Sinclair into like a wheelbarrow German suplex, which some say that was not parental guidance, the way she got in position. But this is where we got Ren Sinclair, then easily fixed that by wheelbarrow pinning her, which is kind of like the most devastating move in all the professional wrestling. But she ends up getting kicked out by Zarya. This is where Zarya then picks herself right back up. And when she then try to go for splash, but she ends up getting elbow strike right to the face onto the female no quarter catch crew member. But this is where we got Zarya trying to tackle her, but this is where she leaps right off of her, rolls right to the upper left side. But she ends up getting speared by the the Australian powerhouse, the second Australian powerhouse of WWE, I should say, next to Rhea Ripley, of course. Like this is where we got. That's where we got Zarya picks her up, hits the F10 maneuver to get the 1-2-3 to add her third spot alongside the likes of Sol Ruka and Stephanie Vaquer. And who do you think is going to be next in the next tournament? Let me know in the comments. It's been announced it will be Kalani Jordan against what's her name, Julia. And this is where we got Julia in a vignette, like with her yeah, like with her letting her know, like, even though she's cool with Kalani Jordan, but she's still not gonna take it easy on her because this is a shot to get her into an opportunity to become the championship that she failed to win the first time when she made her NXT in-ring debut against Roxanne Perez and the debut show on the CW. And yeah, do you think Julia could win? That's only if she can if she can defeat Kalani Jordan. And do you think who do you think is going to win? And which team you're going to go for team Julia or team Kalani? Let me know down in the comments about that as well. But this is where we move on and we talk about. Let's see. This is where we got. This is where we got. What's his name? Eddie Thorpe's like I got to demand another shot at the Iron Survivor qualifier match to Ava. Like right after we got Tony D'Angelo was getting checked out by a doctor, but this is where Tony D'Angelo was like, well, "Please stop! Don't touch my leg." And this is where we got the doctor would not listen. This is where he's like I told you not to mess with my leg up here. This is where we got. But this is where we got this is where we got the Tony D'Angelo's like if you want to keep your fingers and not getting wrist cut off, I would suggest you not touching me. This is where we got Tony D'Angelo's I'm getting fed up with all this funny business with both Sean Spears and his protege that's mind controlling Sean Spears and his lackey that Spears is mind controlling, or brainwashing, or whatever the scenario is. This is where we got. This is where then we got Ava's like, "Can I help you?" And this is where we got Tony Angelo's like, "Yeah, I need This is where they got what's her name, Ava, that gave him his wishes, but this is where we got this is where she was like, if you're clear enough, then yeah, you got the match against Sean Spears, which that's also gonna be happening, I believe, next week, which will be for the NXT North American Championship, like I said earlier. But this is where we got Eddie Thorpe was getting very angry, but this is where first he just said, I want another match in the Iron Survivor. This is where we got Ava was like I would love to, but that was I seen what happened there outside, but once the referee his decision is final, much more than the garage sale, that all sales are final there as well. But yeah, that's where we got. But this is where then we got Eddie Thorpe to explain what was the reason for it, and this is where then he tried to make a comparison with him and Tony D'Angelo's you don't want to give me a second chance of getting an opportunity of qualifying fairly at the Iron Survivor match, and you just automatically just get letting Tony D'Angelo rewarding title opportunities to these weird strangers. We're strangers around here. This is where we got Ava's like, no, that's not nothing like that. You need to listen. This is where Eddie Thorpe's like, no, I think I heard enough. This is where we walk out of there. And do you think? And I assume this could be a future heel turn. And do you think that we could be seeing going to the dark side? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. He's been kind of teasing it ever since that. He always keep getting cut off by Ava, with her being too busy with the one thing that she's doing on the job is general manager. And this is where it kind of irritates Eddie Thorpe, but he tried to pretend not to let it pretend that if it's not not making them be phased about it. And also this is where Fatal Influence came out into the ring, and this is where, and I was thinking like maybe we could see like whoever be the fifth member, like and they could add it like it'll be four guys that failed to face the four qualifiers, like Cedric Alexander and Eddie Thorpe, and even what was it? It was who was the other guy that was in the match? Oh yeah, Alexis King. It could be all them, like in a, I'll say, I'll say in the qualifier match, in the four-way match. But this is where we got the Fatal Influence women came out to the ring. This is where we got fans start booing the trio. This is where JC James, like, by now, like, everybody knows that NXT has the strongest women's division in all of wrestling, like, which that was an obvious statement from the former women's NXT tag team champion. This is where JC James, well, we already knew that before, like, anybody else, like, knew, like, if, like in those three women like that already knew that are the same three women that are in this ring right now, and that is the three of us, which was her, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. Like this is where then she added and like the Fatal Influence, like it's always been ahead of the curve. Like, but this was gonna be the sharpest women's division in the world. They definitely had to be right on top. And I was like, yeah, of course, like every other woman, like because why else that they're over right now, like like and also like and I don't think it had anything to do with you three. Like maybe when it comes to adding, yeah, of course, but not being the I'll say the support and the reason why they even became like such to make the division more prestigious than ever. I think that this is probably I'm probably gonna be regretting saying this, but I'll say it's the facts on the matter that the NXT, there's no doubt about that the NXT's women's division is much more better than the other company's division. But the only thing I probably won't be feeling bad about is like when it comes to like the one that Nigel McGuinness likes, that's the women's champion over there, which I understand why I mentioned by name, even though he's been a commentator on the show. So I guess I'm gonna let it slide for now. But anyways, but it's where then JC James like we're gonna she's gonna make damn sure that they're going to remain sitting at the top of it. But this what it found him is like, and some of y'all might ask like how to get to the top. Like in question, well, like I can easily answer that. Like and how you can stay. And this word is just like if you want to know else what makes you to remain in the top, like well, this where the fan chain of what, which I think she's not gonna be offended. She's not Kurt Angle like we did in Orlando, like always, not in Pittsburgh, or else the Olympic gold medalist would have ruined had his night ruined. Let me rephrase that. But it's where then she was like, well, like when she answered the fans, like, what this where she's like, well, you have to hold one of these. And I was like, what's up with these women like trying to hold the women's mid card belts like a certain women's mid card champion over at the other company, which I'm not sure if I should mention them by name, which I think I know who their names are, but this is where we got this is where JC James was like, she was like, well, maybe I could, or this is what this is what she was like, and yeah, that's for the reals. Like over every women's athlete, no matter how good they are, like in a mockery voice. This is where we got found. He was like, yeah, I'm a second. Like I can look at right in front of my beautiful title, because I have nothing else to worry about. Like, or like I can be a fighting champion, like I plan on be. But how about an open challenge? Like this is where fans are clapping for that. This is where they want this is where this is where Fallon Henley was like, it was like, yeah, settle down, calm down. It's definitely not gonna be tonight, but it will be next week. Like when I'll be ready, I'm geared up. That's where then JC Jane looked behind, looking directly at somebody in particular, which I'm not sure who she was referring to, but just where she looked at Stern saying it will be next week, that's for sure. And then this is where JC Jane's like, but let's be honest, not JC Jane, it was Fallon Henley, not JC Jane, by the way. I'm sorry for the botch, but this is where she continued saying like yeah, like you're like yeah, like you're gonna need to have a week prepared to be my next challenger because they're gonna be trying to they'll be too busy beating the daylights out of each other to try to get an opportunity with me. And I cannot think of I cannot think of anybody that could come out here so easily without being ambushed by another woman that's trying to beat her to it. This is where like one of the women in the locker room that's in the mid card then came out, and it was none other than the Meta Girls, which had featured Lash Legend in it, where they're saying skirt. It is where she was like, yeah, like we want that title, and what she said like this was like, and this was like, hold up, wait a minute, like Fallon, like if it's gonna be an open challenge next week, like best believe, like the Meta Girls are gonna be the piece of that, and this is where they pointed at the women's shit. This is where then JC James, like, oh here, like. You hear these lovely ladies, like they want a piece of us, like they want a piece of this, which I believe like she's meaning a piece of us. This is where Jasmine is like, yeah, like I like to sign out. How about we give it to them? This is where both women went out. This is where they got stopped by somebody else that was entering on the stage, and that was none other than Nikita Lyons. That just went right into the middle of the Meta Girls between the two female. This where then what's her name? Nikita Lyons was like no, like I don't think so, Lash. Like you already had your chance to go at Crown Jewel, roasting her in the process of saying like she had a chance of a little quarter piece of a big shot at the main roster women's championship, which was the tag team champions to be the exact. It was like and y'all and this is where she did chuckled like and this is where then she like set her eyes on the fatal influence by saying like and she was yeah, you girls, like, go back in the line while you, Fallon, I will be seeing you in the next 7 days for that NXT Women's North American Championship. But this is where she gets ambushed from behind. Right after she said that, it was, what's her name? Adriana Rizzo, because she still wants vengeance onto Nikita Lyons because Nikita got a win over her last week. And she also was the one that ambushed her from behind. And she even admitted it, which that's very rare for like a mystery and attacker would do unless they're trying to get to the top, like, and do anything for it, like if it's like an extra paycheck or extra payday at some capacity. Like, but anyway, this is where we got but that's where all the women then start turning to like the men's tag team division to start swinging fisting to each other because they all rode into the Homeless Man and the Hurricanes ride, the Typhoon Twister, I guess you could say, yeah, like that. He rode right into the NXT arena. This is where Booker T's like, oh yeah, man, yeah, like you're back, like can I get a ride? This is where then the Homeland Hurricanes like, yeah, absolutely, like this, like he loves bringing joy to everybody in the wrestling community, like whether if they're a wrestler or personality, whatever they are. Like, and this is where he's like, but he also likes bringing the chaos because he's like Shadow Hedgehog himself, like, yeah, like just like Super Ninja Austin and Simon Miller, that is Dr. Robotnik, I guess you could say. But yeah, give us the chaos because we love wrestling chaos. But anyways, this is where we got. But let's see. Let's see. That's where everybody was breaking havoc and start swinging fists everywhere. Like this is where they try to break. But this is where we got like once the girls were out. This is where we got what's her name? None other than what's her name? What's her name? Uh, Tatum Paxley, which I assume it was going to be Kalani, but no, she's going to worry about Julia in the next 7 days for the big women's championship, which is the world championship in the division. This is where she ends up hitting her that sideways cartwheel flip right onto her, like trying to get her like to put her name on the list of the women that should get an opportunity for the women's North American Championship. And do you think that she will indeed get that opportunity, or do you think she's going to be in the number one contenders match and she's immediately going to be immediately with that defeated, I guess you could say. I do think they're going to be immediately, defeated and out of the questions. But let's move on to the next slide. Here's where we got. Let's see. Here's where we got the. Here's where we got. What's his name? Ethan Page then sends the message to her via vignette as well. Right. He picked his spot in NXT, and he's like. Here's what Ethan Page is but how? When he's like, you stole a championship from me, but what's the best way to get back into that fray is to enter the Iron Survivor Challenge. Is where it's like, I'm declaring my spot at next week's next qualifier match, and you will not believe who's he going to be facing because we saw him into the backstage locker room. This is where it was none other than the NXT Tag Team Champions Nathan Frazier and Axiom. This is where. And no, it was not Nathan. This is where Axiom. This is where he was asking. This is where Axiom was like, I understand why is he gonna be in this match, be qualifying this match. This is where Nathan Frazier confirmed that he is a former NXT championship. So why wouldn't he try to find his way back? It is where then he's like, and it's where Axiom then confirms like, well, he's not going to be in the qualifying match because because his opponent for the qualifier, he won't be in the Iron Survivor match because next week in his qualifier match, his opponent's going to be none other than him. And it's where you should have seen the eyes of Nathan Frazier look like you're seeing enough jealousy. He's like, wait, like you're in it, like it's where like. And that's where the Axiom was like, you got into the qualifying match clearly, you weren't so worried about the tag team division, like to the point that you got yourself in this in the qualifier match, and he was like, and you didn't really quite care about the whole tag team division coming after us, so you just put yourself in the I might as well do the same and not miss out and score my opportunity of being in this match and trying to see if I could get an opportunity for the big win as well. This is where Nathan Frazier, and this is where then Axiom then confirmed that he went to Ava's office not so long ago. So to make this official, this is where then Axiom then came and was like, wow, looked like he was about to say, why, but instead he used the other W word, which was an impressive word by saying, wow, that was totally fantastic, amigo. I'm so happy for you, man. He was like, and I'm like you when I did it. And this where the accent's that's very fairly much exactly similar. Thank you so much for your support. Then Nathan Frazier's like, wait, what? He was like, well, what happens if, let's say, if you did generally qualify? This is where the accent was well, we have to face each other. Do we? Well, we could take care of the other three guys that's going to qualify, but we're just going to have to eventually going to fight each other to try to get a spot, which they're kind of teasing like a split right here, despite being tag team champions. But this is where Vic Joseph and Booker T was looking at it this is very interesting. Not only they're tag team champions, but they're potential opponents as well. Despite being champions, and that's where then we got. This is where then we got. Vic Joseph was praising the young general manager Ava, for her booking skills, for not only tonight but next week as well. Which I like how they did a very good job of booking things for next week's episode of NXT with the North American Championship and then the qualifier match and etc. But that's where we got. That's where the show found Henley facing Tatum Paxley, which I made a huge blunder right there myself. Which I don't understand why I said that he's going to be in the number one contenders match when she was actually got into the ring and attacked Found Henley. And then despite that, unfortunately, she won't be winning that championship. Despite making an impression of herself. I'm impressed with how Ava's booking things for the men's and women's North American Championship match and the men's and women's qualifier match for the Iron Survivor. And that's where like then we got what else that. And this is where we got the backstage. This really showed the fun, great moments of team of Chase U, like from the segments with plenty of segments they've been, especially with Andre Chase hilariously swearing and getting angry, and then slamming things onto his students that ask way too many questions in a wrong way, in the wrong way purposes by questioning his teachings and telling them like shut the fudge unsweetened chocolate kiwi kill up. And no, he's not telling them to shut their mouths with some unsweetened organic candy bars. But he did like by saying that, telling them to shut up, like because like if they don't have nothing nice to say, they shouldn't say nothing at all. That's why we got Trick Williams then came out to the arena because he's going to sit with both Booker T and Vic Joseph in the commentary desk to see who's going to be his next challenger for the WWE NXT Championship. Here's where we got this is where next up we have let's see. But this is where we got a backstage segment like with the Gallus boys, like of yeah of trying to send a message, like trying to discuss things like on like how to get a shot at Nathan and Axe's tag team championships, and also we saw a segment with what's their names Ashante Diodanis and Carmen Petrovic, like with them continuously continuously having plenty of lot of complimentary words to say to each other. With them, we're going closer and closer. Look like they're about to make out, but this is where we got like some of us fans that are not really fans of this angle was saved by the lioness, I guess you could say, because it was Nikita Lyons. But I believe she tried to stir up the pot and claim that Ashante Diodanis texted her something about something between the two of them earlier, and this is where she thanked him for it. This is where we got Carmen Petrovic was very upset about this, believing that like he was seeing what's her name, Nikita Lyons, and I've been talking to her as well, thinking that he's the heartbreaking player, but something just tells me like this was not true in a way. But this is where Ashante Diodanis was like, all right, like it's not true. Like she's just making this up, which it was kind of obvious considering like how she's been acting like more in the heel side rather than being the face ever since she made her return. And something just tells me we could be seeing her in a rematch against what's her name? What Adriana Rizzo, which I believe they could be in a qualifier match, like where they get the who's going to be the fifth member that's going to join Zarya, Stephanie Vaquer, and Soruka, I guess you could say, and between Kalani Jordan and what's her name, Julia, I guess you could say, but let's move on to the next slide. And do you think that this romance storyline is going to get better and better, and we're going to finally see them like making it official, like with them saying they're an on-screen couple? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. Even though I'm not a fan of it, but I can see it happening a mile away, so I'm just going to leave it like that. But let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about Reg Holland then going for a headlock onto Andre Chase, like start things off like after the grapple. After we got what's his name, Reg Holland got Andre Chase right where he wanted him. This is where we got. This is where we got Andre Chase starting the forearm strikes. This is where we got what's his name, Rich Holland go for a European uppercut, and this is where I was like, man, I was not prepared to see what was going to be happening later on onto this match, which I'm not gonna get in more into details until like I'm gonna get to there. This is where we got. This is where I got Rich Holland hits that a very unforgiving belly to belly suplex, which I believe that's the same maneuver that he hit on Big E, even though like in reality he did not purposely try to injure the former WWE champion. But in kayfabe he did. But this is where we got Rich Holland did not care like if it happened to Andre Chase at this point, which the fans start booing him more louder. Probably like maybe like just a few more centimeters louder, like from breaking the record onto them booing Dirty Dominic Mysterio. This is where we got Rich Holland then go for another belly to belly suplex, but this is where Andre Chase then gets slammed right to the left side. This is where we got then we got Ridge Holland to go right underneath the ring. Oh no, he rips off like a padding onto the floor, which exposed the concrete. And where we got Duke Hudson, Riley Osborne, and Thea Hale was warring along with the rest of the Chase U students. That's where the Duke Hudson like, no, he starts shaking his hands like, no, I cannot see this happening. Like my professor cannot like take this bump and hit and we're done for. This is where did he try to that's where he tried to go. This is where we got him coming out of the ring. This is where we got what's his name? Andre Chase go for a super kick. This is where we got Ridge Holland and then going to the other side is where we got Andre Chase go for a cannonball right onto what's his name? Right onto what's Ridge Holland is where this is where we got Andre Chase was like again. Chase University is still alive. This is where he did the Chase U hand gesture. This is where we got the powerful force and all the pro wrestling came on right after after dub they did that spotlight where Andre Chase did not get powerbomb or sunset for powerbomb right into that exposed concrete, much rather than backfiring with him turning into a cannonball onto the most dangerous member of the most dangerous man of NXT, I guess you could say. But this is where they got back into the ring after the adverts. This is where we got Ridge Holland was back in control, just hitting like face plants and Uranagi slams. This is where he tried to go for a pin. But this is where we got Andre Chase kicked out at 2.8. Like nothing was not bringing down the former NXT Tag Team Champion. This is where we got fans start chanting. They just start chanting fudge unsweetened chocolate kiwi kale Ridge Holland. And no, they did not. No, they're not trying to. No, they're not trying to compliment him with a unsweetened organic candy bar. Like they just did not like the. They just not like the guy in general. Like, well, as a heel, of course. But this is where we got. Right there, we got Ridge Holland trying to whack him with a steel chair. But this is where the referee then. But this is where we got the referee then stop him from hitting him in the chair. This is where he allowed to snatch the chair from him. This is where he low blow what Andre Chase right to the midsection. Followed that up with that DDT move. It looked like the PTO drop that the former Page used to do, which he's now going by a different name, which I'm not sure if I should mention it by name onto this review video. But this is where we got. But this is where we got Rich Hall go for a pin, but the referee was now undistracted. This is where he counted the one, he counted the two, and maybe Rich Hall would have gone away with it sooner if it wasn't for that meddling MVP student of Andre Chase. Like with him dragging the referee out of the ring, is where then he went face to face with Rich Hall and started letting him have it by hitting him with fists, right into the bottom right quarter side turnbuckle. Then started shoulder bumping him right in the midsection. Hit some more right hands into the head. That's where he sent him right to the right side. And then this one we got Duke Hudson that came in and then hits more elbow forearm strikes with Rich Holland and hitting right back at him. This is where we got Duke Hudson to start hitting some underhook punches right to the midsection. That's where he did try to go for. That's where he tried to go for. What's that? Like a razor's bomb, a razor's edge power bomb right into the concrete floor. That's where then we got Thea Hill cheering him on by saying, like, send him down to the ground, like on the unforgiving concrete floor. Right here where they're pointing it out. But this is where we got Rich Holland flip right out of it. He picks him up into a spine buster position and slams him right into that I'll say flat paper wall right into the corner where they have where they have that top podium thing, like platform, where some of the wrestlers that want to watch the match, like right on the higher location in the arena, like that, like underneath there. That's where they went right through it. This is where Vic Joseph, like, oh my God, this is where DAL, like, no, start screaming in devastation. This is where fans start chanting, holy sugar, honey, iced tea, which who could blame them for that? Because yeah, this was very painfully insane. This is where the Rich Holland got out of there. This is where we got That's where we got what's his name diving right on top of Ridge Hall after he started talking trash onto Thea Hale. Like this is where he was like yeah, your little big your big brother Duke is not gonna do nothing anymore because he's done for just like your professor is about to be. But this is where he forgot there was another student that was part of Chase U that he had to worry about looking for, and it was none other than Riley Osborne. This is where he did a front flip and then he flipped the right. He did it so fast, like to the point he accidentally knocked over what's his name, Thea Hale. Like which he just did right in front of Rich Holland, but he accidentally knocked over Thea Hale in the process because his body was all over, like in that side, like where he did a cannonball to. But this is where he got what's his name, Rich Holland back in the ring. This is where he tried to throw some more fists onto him, but this is where he gets picked up in a gorilla press position. This is where then he throw him right to the concrete floor. This is where we got him just like bye bye, like just like I'm about to say this is where he's like, all right, three down and only one more to go, and this is where he turned around. This is where he's like now it's finished. Well, I finished where I started. And that's where Andre Chase and I took that lightly. This is where he's like you're like I it's where Rich Holland's like your university's about to be mine, and you're about and you're like in your days as the professor is about to be resting in peace. And this is where and this where then Andre Chase like, first of all, you're not the Undertaker, just like that guy in the mask say to those that hits the dead man's the legendary dead man's finishing maneuver. Like on other shows and companies, and second of all, like you're not gonna be owning it. Like you're not gonna be you're not gonna be owning it if I have anything to fight about it. Like, and I'm not giving up without one. This is where then he then hits a what they call a Russian leg sweep right onto Ridge Holland. This is where he's like who wants to give an Andre Chase huge size ass whipping onto Ridge Holland. Is where. And this where then Van's like, we do, and this where he's like, and this where he's like, okay, now you need to spell out spell out my university. This where he's like, all right, give me a C. This where fans say C and then H. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, like give me a C, a H, a A, a S, a E, and a U. And he's like, what's that spell? And the fans like Chase U. And then that's where then he tried to. And then that's where then he hit. What move was it next that he followed that up with? Like after the signature, it was what's that spell? The chase shoot is where we got what's the name that turned Rich Holland around is where he hits that side effect like maneuver, which I believe was the U bridge, I guess you could say. It's where he tried to go for a pin, but it's where Rich Holland kicks out at 2.8. This is where Andre says like, no, like it's not over yet. Like, and I'm not giving up. This is where it goes up right on the top rope. That's where it looked like he was about to win, but this is where Rich Holland did an elbow strike. That's where the Rich Holland they try to go for like that DDT maneuver off the top rope and into the what's that called the right off the top rope in the upper right side in an avalanche position. But this is where like the lightning does not strike twice, even if you're on the top of the turnbuckle mountain, like trying about the timber like into from an echoing effect, like into an avalanche. But that ended up not happening because Andre Chase did a sunset flip powerbomb, which I hope that does happen this Saturday on the other company's pay per view when a certain individual does bring justice for themselves and yours truly against this particular wrestler, which we're probably not going to be talking about until 24 hours from now. This is where we got Andre Chase hit a sunset flip powerbomb, but I hope that this wrestler does it right to a table. If I already know what I'm referring to, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But this is where we got. That's where we got Rich Holland kicks out at the final second of 2.999999999. Double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is where we got. Let's see what happened next. It like, but once as soon as Andre Chase got back up, I don't know how. What's his name got back up after this? But where we got. But where we got once the pinfall like got done. This is where I couldn't tell what exactly happened because we got a little glitch effect. Which let me know in the comment section right down below if you had the same problem like it's me when once that the move when Rich Holland kicked out of it. Next thing you know, like Ridge Holland got back up. That's where he was standing victorious, which I'm not sure what exactly he did, which I believe like there was some kind of a error, like it was loading. Like, and let me know in the comments if you're having the same issue, like whether if you're watching this like from your local like cable service or even YouTube TV, like Super Ninja Austin was doing it. Like, let me know like what issue was it? But I see Ridge Holland like got the win, like with him celebrating with Andre chasing the ground, which I assume he hit his finishing maneuver, that DDT, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, winner of this match, Ridge Holland. Which I yeah, it was, because on the replay they show like I believe Andre was I be trying to go for a crossbody, but ends up hitting like into a DDT, like that maneuver, which the third time was the charm because he found it right on the turnbuckle. He used it against Andre Chase, used it as his good luck charm to get the 1, 2, 3. And yeah, this was the sad day in the Chase room classroom because like Chase U last room because Chase U is pretty much over. But let's hope that this is going to be a change, like much more like what happened when Chase U nearly went bankrupt the time where he gambled all the money for like financial aid and for and the money that's running the school like in the university. Like, hopefully, there's going to be a huge turnaround like it did before, but this time, like when it comes to with Andre Chase getting another big, huge stipulation on the Ridge Holland, and then this time it'll like with him getting his university back. Like, but I'm not sure if that will happen because after this devastating loss, I'm not sure like if it's like I'm not sure, like if it's a good idea to bring it back, like because it seemed like a situation that there's no takebacks here, especially at this moment, I guess you could say at this time. But let me know about this in the comment section right down below. That's where we got, yeah. That's where Andre Chase is sitting on the right side. Is where all the fans to start was grabbing their heads like, why this happened? Like, and this is where I'll say I'm not giving this the worst match of the night because it was still impressively entertaining. But this is where the fans start chanting, nah, 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 nah. Some of them, of course, this is where they're like, nah, 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 hey, with the show going off the air afterwards, and this that ended in a very sad manner. And what are your thoughts on AEW? What's your opinion on AEW? What the AEW? I mean, to say NXT. Okay, I feel embarrassed right now. But yeah, but what are your thoughts on NXT tonight? And do you think that was the shock of the night, which most of y'all probably would agree, which we were not expecting the Andre Chase to lose right here. We would have expected him to actually win. But this where unfortunately, like it decided to end with Ridge Holland getting the victory over Andre Chase, and not only he gets a shot at Trick Williams' NXT championship at deadline, but he also ended Chase U. No more, like Ridge Holland just said. And what are your reactions to that? And do you think that we won't be seeing Andre Chase in this university like be in the Chase room classroom ever again permanently, or do you think we could see them getting back together like down the line down the road? Let me what if it's sooner or later? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But yeah, NXT did a very intriguing uh did a very intriguingly good job tonight. And at the ending, I'm not sure if I agreed on. And maybe there was a couple other bugs that was on the show, but I'm not gonna be the negative Nancy to mention them. So I'm just gonna give it a very decent averagely 4 stars rating, I guess you could say. And I hope y'all all enjoyed the video. And if so, please make sure to hit the big thumbs up button, consider hit the subscribe and the post notification bell for more SNA videos. Please make sure to check out my Go Home Edition AEW Dynamite review video. Like once it airs after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Like once I get done seeing who's exactly going to be the winners and losers on the matches, and what segments it's going to be on, like on the show, like which is going to be the last Wednesday night Dynamite before the Full Gear pay-per-view, like and it's going to feature Orange Cassidy taking on Willer Yuta, which is going to be put to the test if Orange Cassidy is ready to fight the AEW champ at Newark, New Jersey. And some telling me that's going to be exactly the case, even though, unfortunately, I don't see Orange Cassidy legitimately going to be winning the title. But I could sure guarantee he's going to beat the protege of Jon Moxley, the former, which is his former protege, I guess you could say. And do you think that Willer Yuta should be also on the line, if like along with Jon Moxley AEW Championship, which I don't think Jon Moxley will have nothing to lose anyways, for multiple reasons, like because he has like a group of guys on the side, and also even though Darby Allin's going to be on Orange Cassidy's corner, but Jon Moxley has the Death Riders, Claudio and Pac, so it wouldn't make much of a difference unless he's going to be doing something nonsensical like he's already doing, like with what they're doing, like by threatening taking AEW away from Tony Schiavone, even though we all know that he's not the actual owner. Like he got the wrong Tony. He's Antonio Schiavone, while Tony Khan's Anthony Khan. Like I should just say Anthony Khan. So two different Tonys. So I don't think it's a good idea to get them mixed up. Not a good idea for your reputation, because Cincinnati is not doing you any favors at that point. Like with their poisoning, mind controlling, hypnotizing water. That's very disgusting and dirty. That needs to be like more than just filtered. Like I'll say purified. I should say the right terms to you, by being blessed and holified. Like I guess they need to go to the Jordan River to clean the water, I guess you could say. Like it needs more like of a baptism, I guess you could say. Yeah, in order to fix this blunder. Fix this hot mess that the worst person in the worst place in the universe cursed with, I guess you could say, which I'm not sure like what y'all say about that, especially for some of y'all. Some of y'all like could be from Cincinnati, and if so, I have to give you my early apologies. I'm just not a massive fan of the city for multiple reasons, which I gave them out like plenty of times, like one of them being because of their ratchet football team, while the other reason because it just seems like where lunatics are from, except for a couple of people in particular, which I'm going to talk about in a different video. Hopefully, I don't. Hopefully I don't get a strike for that, for sounding offensive, which I probably don't think I will begin. But also, please make sure to check out my wrestling news video right before I make my review with All Elite Wrestling, which is going to be the Go Home edition. And I hope and also make sure to make sure to check that out. We're going to be talking about the wildest and intriguing news stories and rumors that you assassinators need to know from the I'll say the Sportskeeda article, which is going to be on November 20th, 2024. And I hope y'all had a wonderful Tuesday, and I hope y'all y'all staying safe, and y'all continuing to have fun and staying ostinated. And I'll see you all in the next video with some more SNA content. Until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin out of here. Bye bye, my assassinators. Y'all take care and have a superifically awesome day, and I'll see you guys soon, less than 24 hours from now, maybe even 12. You never know, but the point is, goodbye.